single. Folks in there. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. I want to welcome you to BNN 247, the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting live from a Black perspective. We don't own the rights to any music, but we do own the rights to what we say. Today's topic is Black dollars. So this is our 280th recording, and it is about the money we spend. We spend a hell of a lot of damn money here in the United States of America, and it is in excess of $11 trillion a year. Now, that's a bunch of dang gum change. And if we can spend $11 million, we ought to be able to make some accumulation somewhere and build something together and make something out of it. But it seems as though we are not taking the time and the trust enough to do that. But today I have my co-host here with me, and that is Mr. Claude Foster. He is an advocate, an avid a politician, and he knows what's happening in the political world today, and he knows about our black dollars. So I would like to introduce to some and present to others Mr. Claude Foster, the founder of CGA Consulting Group. How you doing, Mr. Foster?
Good afternoon, my brother. Glad to be with you on this Sunday.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful Sunday afternoon.
So what's on your mind? Talk to me.
Well, sounds like a good show. Talking about money.
Yes, sir. It's about that money.
Where the money at? Where we spending it at? How we spending it? Who we spending it on? What are we spending it for?
Mm-hmm.
Is it advancing our status in this country? Is it making a difference in our communities?
Mm-hmm. We see it. We see money being spent around us all day long. And you see brand new buildings coming up. You see road constructions coming up. You see so many dollars being spent. Now, and the thing is, you got to realize these are your dollars. These ain't just dollars that pop up. These are dollars that come, that accumulated based on the taxes that we pay. And then it goes to the governments, the different branches of the government, and then it goes out to contractors back into our population. But I'm more concerned about the money we spend as black people and the things that we buy. You were in the store. This is Sunday, so I'm willing to bet 8 out of 10 of us went into a grocery store or a retail store to over the weekend. And if by going in there, what did we buy? We didn't just go in there and buy what we went in there for. Let's say we needed an onion to go into a dinner that we were going to make that night, but we ended up spending $238 in groceries because we went up to the store just to get an onion. That's just a simple evaluation of what we do, having that disposable income. But then you have so many black people that live pillar to post. And what do I mean when I say pillar to post? I mean that they don't have enough money to cover the month. The money comes short of the month. In other words, it doesn't make it to the end of the month. So now you got to figure out how you going to get this money to finish off the month before you get your next paycheck. So there are several options we take to the street to use. Number one, we can pawn some shit. I can't stop cussing. We can pawn, we can pawn some stuff, take it to the pawn shop and put it in the pawn shop and act like and let it accumulate. We can get 30, 40, $50, $100, whatever you take, you get money for it. But yet you really don't want to pawn, so you're gonna go back and try to get your stuff or redeem your stuff out of the pawn shop. And it's gonna cost you. You're gonna pay to get that money in advance. But the thing is, you needed that money to make ends meet to get your family fed for the rest of the month.
Are you
That's
gonna take?
huh?
Are you gonna take the car and take your title in? They're gonna give you a title loan, or
Dang,
you know,
that's a good one. I forgot about them title
like
loans.
title loans all over our communities.
But and they're all in our neighborhoods.
Yeah, because
They're
that.
all in our neighborhoods. So
I mean, they
title loan.
wouldn't be there. They wouldn't be there if the need
Hmm?
wasn't there. Correct? I mean,
Well,
if they wasn't making money, they wouldn't be there.
right. They would not be there. Same with the liquor stores. We're so quick to go in and buy us a beer when the beer is way it's gonna cost us way more than it would cost us if we just went down to Walmart or one of the retailers, bigger retailers, to buy it. If you bought it at the corner store, you paid premium price for a single beer, but you go buy it anyway, just so you can go walk around with that beer in your hand. And why? What is so? I mean, why do we do this kind of stuff? I don't understand this. If you know why we do it, then please help me out, G baby. I don't know. I would love to understand why black people are so quick to go down to the corner store, buy them one beer, put it in a brown bag, and drink on it for the next 2 or 3 hours. Jam Buck, you got an answer for that? I don't have an answer, Ivan 70. Help me. What you got, Claude? Do you know why we do that kind of stuff? Have you ever done that?
I haven't done it. I've seen it. I work in throughout the country when in my past life. I've seen
Mm,
it.
mm,
I see it when I go home.
mm,
Uh, it's a destructive culture, but it's our communities are targeted. These service stations are they have uh, they have their organizations that represent their entities,
mm,
and they promote these entities through our elected officials. And so it's a multifaceted kind of problem.
mm,
Uh, when you talk about when you talk about the black community, you're really talking about different black communities. It's kind of like I tell people when historically black colleges and universities were created after the Civil War.
mm,
They were created for the mulatto blacks of slave owners, and eventually opened up for all blacks. And so we've always had this divided culture in America in terms of
mm,
who we are as a people.
mm,
It's always been the haves and the have-nots. Even though in retrospect, when you're looking at the haves and the have-nots in terms of America
mm,
and in terms of our habits and why we spend the way we spend and why we go out and buy a Cadillac when a Chevy will do, why we go out and buy $100 sneakers when a $50 pair of sneakers will do. It gets all convoluted in that discussion
mm,
in terms of why we do that. Do we do that because we're trying to be American? Do we do that to separate ourselves from people that don't have what we have? I mean, it's a complicated issue. But you're right, and but the service station with the beer right out front, you see that in all communities now, not
Mm-hmm.
just in black communities. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you can stop at a service station on the highway and they have the beer right out front.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's buying it, and so you know what causes that? What? Why do
What
we do
causes?
that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a brain surgeon. I don't have the answer to that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I do know we was talking earlier about politics, and for the first time in our history,
Thank you, Roger. I just wanted to mention that. So don't mind me if I throw out something like that. I just wanted to thank Roger.
yeah,
Go
you
ahead.
know, we was talking about earlier, for the first time, and I think in our history, our political representation matches our population percentage. We're
Mm-hmm.
13% of the population, and we have 13% of the members of Congress.
Mm-hmm.
61 in the House, one in the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
Comes out to 13%, the same as our numbers in the population.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you look at politics as a solution,
Mm-hmm.
that should be it, right? I mean, we should see
We already got what we're supposed to have in politics.
if
So
that's what we're supposed to have.
mm-hmm.
I mean, was there ever a limit to say we could only have 13%?
No, not the no. We could have more, but it seemed like somebody's paying attention to it for it to be exactly aligned to the point it is aligned.
Well,
You know, to have the equivalent of the population represented in the United States Congress.
but I guess a good answer to your question, though, I think young people and some of our listeners can chime in. I don't know the ages of our listeners, but
Mm-hmm.
millennials, Gen Z tend to are starting to use their spending power to support their values.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to hear from some of our audience members. Is that true? Do our listeners use
So
their
okay, so our values in this conversation basically, to me, let's start with this. Why would I go put rims on a brand new car? Go buy $5,000 in tires and rims and put them on my new acquisition and feel like it's a representation of me. You know, I did see something that I was really not sure of what it was the other night down on 6th Street. I saw a car with these long spokes at least 3 feet away from the tire.
oh that, that's hip. That's the thing here in Houston.
What is that about?
Yeah, that's the culture here.
Is
You
that
come
the
in, you they have parades. They have big events, street parades and stuff.
for those
They was
cars?
yeah, they was probably from Houston. I mean, they was probably from here.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a big cultural thing here.
Is it something about that somebody else being able to look at your car while you driving down the road because you ain't seeing nothing because you're in the car. You cannot admire your own work while it moves down the road because you are in the car. All right, here's a comment from Johnny Marsh. We have forgotten to speak at the table. We have forgotten Big Mama. We have forgotten the respect. He's got a point. I mean, I agree with you, Johnny Marsh, that we don't do dinners anymore. Millennials don't do dinners. The our generation don't do dinners. I mean, how many families do you know of in 2025, black families that is, that sit down every single day at the same time and the mom comes to the table with the plates, and the dad blesses the food and get the biggest pieces of chicken off the thing, and everybody else eat the leftover and be happy about it. And then you discuss, well, how was your day at school? What happened at your work? What the family is intent to do during summer vacation? When do you discuss these things as a family? If the family never ever sits down, you don't understand the value of the family, and you don't understand the value of the money that makes this opportunity available to the family. That's where the disconnect is. The money that's being provided to our household leaders is not equivalent enough to sustain a family on a particular level, on a regular family level. So if it cannot do that, that means you're gonna have to spend your time at more than one job. And if you're at more than one job, that means you're not home more than 8 hours a day. How do you do it, Johnny? How do you fix it? How do you manage this type of lifestyle and turn it into a productive lifestyle for our people? And you got kids right now that are 20, 25, 30 years old. They're sitting at home playing video games, and the parents are out at work, and the house is a mess.
Well, I mean, what about the? I mean, but you got kids that are like 3 years old spending $100 for boots because that's what the parents want the child to have.
Why would you buy a
So
$100 pair of boots for a 3-year-old?
who's going to
That's like
outrun
buying
them?
Nikes for a damn toddler or a baby that can't even walk.
But we do as a people that
Because if we
we
want
make
them
those
to
kind
see
of purchases.
something, we want our children to be somebody or see something or act a certain way. What do we want? What are we trying to prove by doing this? We want our neighbors to see that our children can wear Nikes at 2 years old,
I
at
mean,
7 months.
if you're receiving state assistance and you go out and have that kind of spending, obviously, yeah, we have a problem.
Mm.
There is a problem. There's a psychological
What?
problem.
Why we won't stop the sale of those shoes? Why can't stores say, well, ma'am, we can't use your card. Bring me up in the live. All right, Johnny, you want to come up in the live? Let's see. How do I do that, Johnny? Go ahead and request it. Let's see if we can bring you up in the live. You got a comment for me? Accept. Johnny, I don't know you, but so if you come in here with the wrong idea, I'm gonna have to let you go. So I'm gonna see. Johnny wants to come on and talk.
Yeah, let's hear from Johnny.
Johnny, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hold up. Let me put my face because it's only respectful.
All right, I appreciate that.
Face up here. Well, what's your name, sir?
I'm War Smith-Bey, and my co-host. Wait just a sec. My co-host is Mr. Claude Foster. Now go ahead,
Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark. Mr.
Claude.
Bay.
Claude.
Blessings.
Mhm.
Blessings.
Thank you,
Blessings.
thank
Let
you,
me put
sir.
my face up here so therefore y'all know.
Hmm.
All right.
Hmm.
The reason why I told you, because we all I said that, we
Hmm.
need to go back to the table.
Hmm.
I'm a 55-year-old black male,
Hmm.
single parent. We need to go back to the table and explain to our young kids, including myself, how financial things work.
Hmm.
Because we are just now, even at 50 years old, we are just now hearing about the massacres in Tulsa.
Hmm.
When
Wow.
Big Mama and Martin Luther King, and I mean, like I said, I'm 50, but that just happened 50 years ago. But Tulsa
Yeah.
happened 60 years ago. That was not taught in our private education. That was not
Right.
taught in our schools. That's taught by Big Mama and yourselves in history.
Hmm.
That's why we need to sit down at the table and educate these young folks, read them Black history books, read them, educate these young kids. And
Hmm.
you asked, How are we going to fix it?
Mm-hmm.
This is how we fix it. We educate our people in our communities. We make sure when we vote, we go to our districts, in our community centers. We let everyone speak. Everyone has a voice. We let them speak. We teach them about the bulletins, about the way to vote. You just don't vote Democrat, Republican, or whatever. We teach them the ways to vote.
Mm-hmm. All right, you got some good points. Yeah, great point, Mr. Marsh. Claude, what are your comments to what?
No, I agree wholeheartedly with what Mr. Marsh says. I mean, we got to get back to the basics. I think we've skipped over the basics, and I think ended up where we are today. Politically, we have the representation. Politically, we are engaged in voting, but I don't think that we understand what that means, and I don't think that we understand how to use that representation that we do have to further our uh, uh, faults in our communities, because the faults are still there, and so from a political standpoint, I guess we got to approach it in a different way.
Mm-hmm. I have a suggestion. I like what you're coming to the table with, Mr. Marsh. We always come in and we'll say, well, we need to do A, B, C, but we never ever give our audience a step one. The first thing our audience need to do in order to get back to the table is this. So I would say the first thing our audience need to do to get back to the table is, like Mr. Marsh was saying, reevaluate every single penny you have coming into your household.
Yes.
Figure out where your money is going. Because now that you can see, dang, I didn't know I spent $1,200 on restaurants last month. You know, there are families right now that eat out so much, it's ridiculous. And then first thing you do, you don't want to cook no way. The first thing you want to do is ask the kids what you want to eat, and you already know what they're gonna say. Why are you asking him because you asking them because this is what you want to do anyway. Go get them something from the fast food place so you don't have to cook when you get home. Now, if you prepared everything Sunday afternoon, and then tell one of your oldest kids, if you have them old enough, or you set it up when you get home at 5:30, behinds in the seat, whether we're eating or not, we fixing to have a conversation. And at least once a week, if you're not doing it every day. But you got to get people back to the table, like you're saying, and you got to start these conversations back up, because, like you said, Tulsa, everybody should know about Tulsa. There should not be a toddler that don't know about Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Thank you.
But we got millions of us that don't know and don't want to know. And then when you tell them about it, they swear up and down, oh, that did not happen. They want to fight with us and act like it didn't happen. You just old, stuck in your old ways, and old racist from Mississippi. You know, you hear that kind of stuff. Where you from? Where you from, Mr. Boy?
I'm from Spokane, Washington, but I was born in Spokane, but my parents are from Texas, Tyler, Texas, and Tennessee.
Oh, the rose capital of the world.
So there was many switches. There were many switches that I got. I took many switches.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to point on this before I drop down. I also want to point on this.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that makes us young kids at a disadvantage. They never, in school and in college, never taught us about a credit score. Never.
That's a fact.
I couldn't hear.
He said they never taught about a credit score.
Oh,
they don't know. People don't know the importance of a credit score right now.
Right.
And I went to a private school.
Mm-hmm.
I went to an all Jesuit school. They never taught us about a credit score.
Mm-hmm. So credit scores are very important, but if you don't know how to manage credit, it's what they call it, debt to income ratio.
Yeah, debt to income ratio.
Right now, we don't know our debt to income ratio. And because you don't know it, they capitalize on
Yes.
limiting us our buying power. And if we're buying things that don't give us good credit scores, then we're just perpetuating the problem. And then we're exactly where they want us to be, where we're going to pay those 18 to 35% interest rates.
Correct.
We can't get around it because we don't know how to get around it.
Well, you know
So
what? Okay, I'm
go ahead.
sorry. Now, the caller brings up an interesting point. Our whole focus in terms of our existence in this country has been focused on our political rights, equal representation, not our financial, not the financial side of our advancement, but our political advancement, our
Oh,
political rights. And so I think at this point we need to really evaluate that. Like I said,
so you saying go back and figure out our financial?
Yes.
I'm saying that we're at equilibrium when it comes to political representation. 13% of the population, we have 13% of the political representation in Congress.
Mm-hmm.
But that has in no way addressed the economic topic that we are discussing. So
Mm-hmm.
there has to be a shift, or we have to better understand the politics of where we are
Mm-hmm.
and infuse that into our politics. The discussion, what the brother just said about the financial education,
Mm-hmm.
into our political education,
I'll say I'm sorry. I'll add this to what both of you you've just said. If we don't have that avenue in our public domain, in politics, we don't have it in politics. We don't have it in the Department of Education. We don't have it in the Department of Labor. We don't have it anywhere in our society where we can learn to be self-sufficient and self-sustained. And the only way we're going to learn it is through our own resources. Our own resources. Now we can't depend on no resources from the public. They can give us the SNAP cards for food. They can give us Section 8, help us get housing. They can give us all these other value benefits. This WIC program, the lunch, the SNAP, all that stuff. They can give us everything. But when it comes down to knowing what you were talking about, Mr. Marsh, what you were talking about, Mr. Foster, we don't have the foundation. We have it, but we're not utilizing it. We got so much wisdom out here in this community, in every Black culture. I mean, every Black city, every Black family, there's somebody with all this knowledge about what has been going down in our society that caused us to be in a particular location or particular position. But nobody wants you to be that person to deliver it. You may have all the knowledge. You know about Tulsa. You know about Emmett Till. You know about Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. You know all of this history, and your family don't want you to deliver this information to the rest of your family because they are afraid of what somebody else may view your family as. So let me tell you why I'm saying all this. Because I was talked to, somebody asked me about a wedding, being at a wedding recently. And one of the first things out of this individual's mouth was, we know how you feel about white people now because the marriage was between a Black and a white. Uh, so, don't come down here showing who you are, showing your attitude. And so in the back of my mind, I'm saying, I'm going to be honest with you, bitch, you don't know me. I've been around more white people than you ever seen. So you don't know how I know how to interact with white people or anybody else. So you have no authority, no position, no integrity, no anything that gives you the right to tell me how to act around white people. So you gotta be respectful enough to know that that individual that drank a beer every day, that talk a lot of profanity, may be able to help you and your family become a more sufficient family than what you are right now because of the wealth of knowledge that's possessed there. You know, you can't judge the people based on the way they live.
But there's a systemic problem too. There's a structural problem to what we're discussing. I mean,
Mhm.
look where all the banks are. Look at the bank locations. They're not in our communities.
I mean, you can't change some of these things just like that, Claude.
Now I know you can't change, but when we're talking about the problem of financial literacy, or when we're talking about why a certain thing, we have institutions, we have an urban league, we have an NAACP. Despite 43 million African Americans, their membership is probably about 500,000. They're in every community. We have the infrastructure. We just don't have.
The
There's not
connection.
the connection to that infrastructure in our communities.
That's a
We
great
we
point.
we have those institutions, but trying
Mm.
to connect them with where the need is in our communities. And our communities do suffer from lack of financial institutions,
So
lack of banks. You know, I mean, you talk to the typical young African American, you say, well, do you have a savings account? Do you have a bank account? You know, have your parents taken you to a bank to open up you an account when you reached a certain age? Banks have special programs for young people, but these programs are not disseminated throughout our community.
mhm.
And so we have a structural issue. We have a political issue because that's who we depend on to fix the structural issue is our
Mhm.
politics. That's why we vote. That's why we go to the polls to
Mhm.
break down those racial structural barriers that created the problems that we're discussing now.
Mhm.
There's a reason why that young person in that housing development never heard of Tulsa, never heard of the Tulsa riots or Wall Street or the Green Book or all the tools that black folks used back in the day to survive.
Mhm.
You know, we've always had a black middle class, even during segregation. You know, with integration, with the battles that we won, we lost that middle class in our communities. They went elsewhere. So
Mhm.
we have a systemic problem that's going to take a holistic approach by all the aspects of our community. And by discussing and talking about it, I'm glad to hear from this young man on the phone,
Mhm.
his perspective, because that is true.
Mhm.
I mean, you can drive. You mentioned service stations for every. You can drive through a black neighborhood. You may have 10 service stations, zero banks, zero credit unions, zero financial institutions in that community,
And zero grocery stores.
zero grocery stores. You know,
To answer your question, we'll go back to your question. How we fix it?
well, I said, I think it takes a holistic approach. I think there's a political solution, but I think that there has to be a community solution. And I agree with everything that you said about the structure in the neighborhoods and how we include that structure in terms of our political process, in terms of understanding what those needs are. Because the resources are out there. Young people, I think young millennials do understand the power of the dollar and understand savings and understand spendings. And so, I don't think it's all gloom and doom. I just think that if we're gonna if we're going to structurally fix it, I think it has to be a political and civil and community-based solution. And so
how do you get people to the table?
This is how we do it.
this is how discussing it,
Our
having
young-
this discussion.
we talk to our elders, like yourself. We talk to our elders, our people that are financially stable, our financial advisors in the community that are in the offices. These financial officers, because we're set up as young kids, we're already set up for failure. I'm going to be honest with you. We're set up for failure.
Yeah.
They give us a loan, 18, 20%. We're not, our debt to income is not making it. They're coming to repossess our car. Then you can't get a house. All right.
Because you got a repo.
But we have someone, an elder, that sits there and say, look, young brother, this is how it's going to be. First, we're going to pray. We're going to sit down at the table and we're going to pray. We're going to go in our schools and we're going to see, just like my grandma did, we're going to go into the school system and find out what our kids are being taught.
Yeah, because somebody has to sit down with that young person at a young point in their lives and say, you need, prioritizing needs over wants. I mean, you're not just born with that understanding of what is a need versus what is a want. They conflict with one another. I want that $500 pair of sneakers, but do you need that $500 pair of sneakers? I want that Xbox, but do you need that Xbox? Because has anyone ever talked to that young person about the future, about home ownership, about what it takes to own a home, the amount of money that you need to save to purchase for a down payment? So we have young people who understand the want, but has never been explained the need.
Look at the first thing, we watch sports. Look at the first thing on a Saturday, the absolutely first thing on College Game Day, and what all these individuals on College Game Day are praising. They're praising these Alabama black kids. Yeah. They're praising them. They're wondering how come Alabama's 0-2? How come Georgia Tech is 0-4? How come Grambling just won and no one heard about it? Grambling just won against a D1 school, first time in 40 years yesterday. All right. Now, let's bring that to perspective. These people are using us for our athletic ability. They're not giving anything back. They're saying, hey, come into our house. I'm going to meet you. We're going to have we're going to have your son play for our school. All right. Kid plays for the school. He goes to the NFL. 99% they do go to the NFL. Just like this gentleman said, they do not know how to buy their mom a house. They have all these chains on their neck, no financial stability, no education because they weren't there for 4 years. They were only two. They were only there for 2, just to go in the NFL. How many black young kids get that chance to go in the NFL? 1%. If that much. Just like what you're saying, if we bring that back to the table, like we used to do, go in the neighborhoods, Big Mama knew everybody on the block. She knew, Big Mama knew everybody on the block. If James down the street, she didn't care if it was white or black. If James down the street didn't go to school, Big Mama knew. Big Mama knew.
All right, I got a question for the both of you, right? All right, we know we can kind of visualize what we can do to make this change. Where do we find the groups and the multitudes of people to go put this information out to, and at what level? Who do we target? I mean, where do we look for the grandma, the big mama? Where are the big mamas meeting? Let's go find the big mamas meeting, or let's go find the kids meeting, or where do we go? Where do we find a group, at least of people that we can go in and try and present this change of trajectory to our kids, or to to our adults or to anybody? Where do we start? Who do we go and talk to?
I'll tell you.
Well, this show is a start. Putting this out and people pick up the message through what we're saying, what our guests are saying. I
Mhm.
mean, uh, that's one start. Uh, when we engage our political officials, that's another
Mhm.
start. Many of our number one resource in our communities is still the Black church. That's the
Mhm.
bedrock of our communities. And many of the churches have programs that we're talking about.
Mhm.
Have programs on financial literacy, and some churches even have banks, financial institutions within their church walls, teaching the young people they can go there and open up accounts. So it's out there, but having this discussion, I think, broadens that discussion, or broadens that awareness, uh, and so that's what we have to continue to do.
Mhm.
This
So
is what hurts the economy. And as we know, with that brother, what they did with Target, right after George Floyd thing, we
yeah.
took our money out. They lost $3 billion. What we do this is how you started.
Only
We
30
join
days.
together. We
Mhm.
join together. We take our money out. Black money is gold.
You take it out of the
Take our money
banks,
out.
out of the
We
credit
take our
unions.
money out. We go. There's black banks in New York. There's black banks in Seattle. There's black banks in DC. We go black owned, black business.
Well, yeah, that is an option. There are black-owned banks in Houston. There are black-owned banks in Mississippi. I
Yes.
think there. I mean, so where there are black folks, there are black-owned financial
So
institutions.
why we were talking about this last week, Mr. Morris, about all the black millionaires in this country. Why is it that we don't see more of them out there advocating for what we're talking about right now, the black
They
family?
will not. They
Huh?
will not.
Is it because
They
they
have their.
contracted
They
against
got
it?
their. They got their own because they got it right in the cusp during that administration, during that Reagan administration and the Bush administration. They got theirs. They got 1% now. They don't want to go back.
Mm-hmm.
The real ones, like yourself and this other gentleman, and like my grandma and my who passed away, but my parents, they are real.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that makes you happy is that when a black man succeeds.
Absolutely.
That's what makes you happy. When you see a black man like myself come up to you and get on live in front of God and everybody and tells the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes you happy.
And have nothing talk the plain fact, and it ain't racist. It ain't anything to hurt nobody.
That's
It's
what makes you happy.
all to make people better people.
I
Black
saw
people.
your face when I typed in the background. When I typed down there and I put it in all caps. When are we going back to the table?
Mm-hmm.
Everything started. You can agree. The gentleman on the other side can agree. It all started at the dinner table.
Mm-hmm. So could we create something like an online dinner table on Sunday afternoon or something? We can call it the dinner table. And that way we go to the dinner table on a Sunday, say 5:30 or something, and then on the dinner table we discuss 3 things that our people need to change or that they can adopt to, or resources that they can go to give them the source of information that can take them out of this situation that they are in.
I think when we
You hold everyone accountable. So if everyone comes on the live and you ask them, you have a pen and piece of paper because I see it in the background. Everyone that comes on your live on on a dinner table, you write it down. So Johnny March, where are you from? I'm from Seattle. All right. I need for you next week to give me, because you're the leader, obviously, and you're my elder, your aunt, your papa. You're my elder, so I'm going to respect you. Johnny, this is your assignment. You find out the leader in Seattle, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Next time, invite him to the dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
Just, Johnny, I need for you just to sit up here and give me lip service.
Mm-hmm. Let's have some assignments coming.
I for you next week, if we're going to do this, I need for you in Seattle, find a leader, invite them to the dinner table, and so on and so forth. And that's how it grows. Don't just show out lip service, because anybody can talk, anyone can listen, but no one hears.
That's right. Claude?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. When we sit down at that table, you know, leave the headsets, the earphones, the iPads, and all that kind of stuff. Those distractions, we don't bring them. You know, we don't bring those to the table. But I do agree with you. I think we got to get back to the basics, what worked, and the dinner table was that beginning. You know, that's where information flowed from, the dinner table.
Okay.
It did. It did.
That kept
And see, like,
us
and
where
like
we are.
yourself, you could be asking me. You're not asking anything personal, but so Johnny, what are you doing with yourself next week? You said you got kids. What are you doing? What are you doing to improve yourself with your children? That's what we need. And some young folks like me need to hear that from people like you.
And you got to recall. I mean, you remember if we're talking about the past, how your uncle or somebody will give you a $5 bill or a $2 bill. I mean, you were introduced to finances within that family structure in terms of money, in terms of what you could do with $5 or what you could do with the $2. Or he say, save it for your future.
Or don't spend it all in one place.
Or don't spend it all at one place. All the values that we seem to be missing today. And I think that's we got to get back to that.
Okay.
Amen. That's what we need to do. Amen. And then when the weather starts getting better, you bring this audience outside to the garage because you're cooking. Because that's how it starts in the community. Just like your family, we all black families did it. We all started in the garage and we cooked for the whole neighborhood. That barbecue from down the street was smelling good.
All right. Do you live in a black neighborhood?
I do.
I thought that in my travels, I find black neighborhoods very few left.
Yeah, especially here in Seattle, there are very few.
I wouldn't think there were very many at all in Seattle, you know.
There's very few blacks in Seattle. You know, very few blacks out west.
Out west.
Yeah. That's a subject. That's another whole subject.
Yeah.
That's another whole subject. See, our price is at $5. Yours is probably at $3. See?
277.
See?
I just looked at it today. It's 277, and I'm thinking that was high.
It's $5.49.
Dang. Woo.
See, there you go. It's just like I said. I mean, I don't want to stand here very long because you guys already have your podcast, and I just jumped in. All I'm saying, it all starts. Please, 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 please. I beg.
So, Johnny, can you provide your email, or would I just find you under your Johnny Marsh?
Yeah, here. I'm gonna hook you up with Mama Rose. I'm gonna share this with Mama Rose. Mama Rose is gonna come in here too. Okay. I think so because I love this woman.
Okay.
Please have these young kids. You're gonna see her, Mama Rose Williams. I think. That woman is a woman of God. I'm gonna share all of what I got from you. But please have these young kids come back to the table because we already know these 50 years old, 50-year-old, 40-year-old are already grandparents. And that would never happen back in the day.
Yeah. 30-year-old grandparents.
That would have never happened.
Yeah.
You got 5 or 6 people, and just like you said, mentioning Snap, you got 5 or 6 people on Snap. They don't need to be like that. It doesn't need to be like that.
That's right.
You got Big Mama, and you got her son living in there. He needs to contribute too.
Okay, well, Johnny, we do this every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. and we try and pick a topic that's pertaining to our people. Where you at? Rose Williams, come on in and join us live.
Rose Williams, please.
All right, I see you right there, Rose.
Rose, come up, please.
How do I get you in there, Miss Rose? I see you.
Rose,
that long, pretty hair.
This woman right here That is, ooh, ooh.
All right, here she comes, Claude. We fixing to talk with Miss Rose.
All right.
Hey, how's it
Hey,
going?
how's it going?
It's going just fine.
Yeah, Mr. Johnny says he brings you highly recommended to this conversation we're having today.
Johnny on the run, but me and Johnny gonna talk later.
All right, well, you got me, Mr. Warren, or Brother War Smith-Bey, and you have Mr. Claude Foster here, hosting the Black News Network, BNN 247, and we love to have you voice what's on your mind and tell us how we can get to the next level, because we're concerned with the money we spend. We're concerned with coming back to the dinner table. We're concerned with the youth and the other millennials not being able to transgress through life like we have, and we struggle.
They're not going to progress like we have until they get some leaders and some supporters.
Mm-hmm.
They need somebody that's going to be there to help them learn how to get to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of kids are raising kids. So
Absolutely.
they don't know that, like grandmama taught us, they don't have that in the house prayer. And they don't have that scripture being read. They don't have that communication, That's a key factor to bringing kids up nowadays. They're lost because it's all about electronics and not about sitting down and having a meal together, talking and experiencing stuff together.
Mm-hmm. Now I hear you, and I've been I studied theology. I'm halfway through a PhD in theology right now, and I don't think that this is a topic that's easily traveled when it comes to our youth. It's going to be very difficult to pull them in and have them focusing on an afterlife. So and don't get me wrong, when I start talking when it goes to religion, believing in God, believing in a supreme being, believing that there is an afterlife, and believing that all of the things that we read in the Bible are true. So it's a whole nother dynamic and a very detailed conversation that we will have to struggle even twice as hard with to get our youth to fall in line under this doctrine. So my biggest thought is, if we can get them to just understand some basic things about survival, we have made a milestone accomplishment. And that is where our trouble lie, in my opinion. We can't get them on the same trajectory right now. And what you're saying, and what Mr. Johnny's saying, and what Mr. Claude's saying, is that bring them back to the table and start with financial literacy. Why do you have a credit score, Johnny? Yes. Well, Johnny, I don't know why I have a credit score. Well, your credit score dictates whether these people, these institutions, are going to support you if you need something to finance your education, finance your new car, finance your new house. These institutions going to first check out your credit score. And if your credit score has been damaged by in any means necessary, they are not going to assist you in accomplishing that goal without charging you everything that they can come up with to make more money off of you. So that's
you don't need to go down the street and live with this girl. You don't need this girl to kick you out.
Yeah.
This girl,
that's right.
This sister don't need to live with this man in order to survive.
That's right.
You have good credit. Go get your own.
Get your own place. Be your own supporter. That way you're not obligated to anybody and anything but making yourself a better person. And you can't do that if you're living through somebody else. Now, if you're a minor and you have a parent in the house, or both parents in the house, then you're living through them at that particular moment. But those days are not forever. They're numbered. You're gonna have to get out and eventually support them. Who's gonna take care of grandma when grandma can't take care of grandma? We had this generation coming up now. some of us have put our kids on the right trajectory to take care of us as we grow older, but 90, I'd say 80 to 90%, I don't think we have that type of background support for us. You know, so it's gonna be a ton of us in a nursing home, and the nursing home are basically there for the money anyway. So they're not gonna do us right. I know a family right now, the mother and the father are in the nursing home, and they got 3, 4 grown, healthy children, making money, doing things, got houses. But neither one of the children will take the parents in. They put them in the nursing home and pay the nursing home $1,400-$1,500 each for each person. And they sit in feces and stuff. But,
41 years.
huh?
As a nursing assistant for 41 years.
So you know.
Each family that bring in their parent or their loved one, the first thing I tell them, make sure you come and check on them. Check on them, because the ones that have nobody to check on them is the one that fall down. That you people tend to not notice. But if you got somebody that's checking on them and looking out for them, they'll get the best care ever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it depends. And it's a shame that our people, we're putting our people in nursing homes and not check on them. It's a sad thing.
That was a time where no black folks would go to a nursing home. We gonna die in our house at home.
Yes, indeed.
We ain't going to no nursing home. That's been my family. We're not going. So that's a hard pill to swallow now. Kids right now are so anxious. Say, man, I can't wait till Papa die or Mama die so I can get my hands on them assets.
This woman right here, I've never met her.
Mm-hmm.
Never met her.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, never met her. She calls me every single Sunday.
Wow.
3 days if she does not hear from me. And she prays for me every single day. She'll leave me a text or a voicemail and prays for me.
That's great. Yeah, that's great.
That's a beautiful thing.
That's beautiful.
That's a beautiful thing, Miss Rose. That's from the heart. I can feel that too.
And that's Mama Rose.
That's what you call her, Mama Rose. So let's build this network here. I mean, we broadcast every Sunday at 3:30, and we were just talking about having the dinner table on Sunday at like 5:30, 6 o'clock, where we pick it.
Told him, bring it to the dinner table and look what he started.
Mm-hmm. We pick an issue, and we just dive into that issue with resources, and like Mr. Johnny was saying. We just don't say we're going to have a dinner table meeting. We're going to come there with resources, and we're going to all be able to explain a particular part of this resource that will help the individuals out here that may come across the recording or may come across the
information,
the show or the information. So it's something that I like the concept. I really do, because it's what's needed. And this is what me and Claude have been trying to figure out. How do we get started? So right now we're talking the dinner table, which may be the best thing that we can put out there. And the view, the problem is the view getting people to see or to come and see what we want to talk about.
Well, we started with the barbershop, and now the barbershop has taken us to the dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah,
he's saying it should be come back to the table.
Oh, come back to the table. Come back to the dinner table. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When Mama say come back to the table, you better be in before the lights out. We come to the table.
You better come back. So like Claude was just saying, we started with, well, a week or two ago, we were talking about having another series called The Barbershop, because most black men will talk about everything at the barbershop. But I think the dinner table is more surrounding the family, and the people where we have the most problems right now is the family.
You know what Mama Rose does? You want to know what Mama Rose does before every closing? You want to know what she does?
What you do, Mama Rose?
She has to pray. She prays. She prays.
She's a prayer warrior for all involved. That's a beautiful thing, and we can keep that going. Because it's something that makes more sense. Everybody can use prayer, regardless of your belief, whether you believe, you don't believe, you have you choose your faith, and all of it revolves around prayer, no matter what.
Exactly.
So
before closing, she always says a prayer, and just like I said, everyone needs a prayer. Everyone.
All right. So how do we reconnect next Sunday?
Well, I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna follow you.
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna follow you because I need this.
So I got your name, Rose Williams and Johnny Marsh. So I'll make sure I tag you guys before Sunday. And
Definitely.
yeah, Claude and I are always in touch anyway. So we'll see if we can get all four of us at the same place this coming Sunday, and then I'll put out some topics, or we already know what we're going to talk about so far. We, like you just mentioned, the credit score. Why is that important? We need to know what this credit score does to our people. So I would take on myself as to do the history of the credit score. What would you all want to do about the credit score? What particular side of the credit score would you like to discuss?
We can talk about that next week. I'll find out what I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Mama Rose is going to sit here and she just tells the truth. She just gives advice. She just tells the truth. Matter of fact, I don't need to speak for Mama Rose. Mama Rose speak for herself. She brings the switch. She do not. When you first met her, she told you I'm on the run.
Now this is another thing I want to make sure. I think the one approach that we got to maintain is we got to make sure we want to keep a focus on what our information is about, and we cannot turn this into, and I don't mean no disrespect, Mama Rose, we can't turn it into a church. We got to stay focused on information. That's why we are here and changing and providing information for our youth and young adults to grasp. So prayer is beautiful, and I want to be able to experience the benefits from your prayer. But I want to make sure we understand that our focus is on information and changing the lives of these young people. So we've been on about an hour. That's about as long as we want to stay in. But before we go, I always like to give Claude the opportunity to give us his closing comments. But we will close with you, Mama Rose, if that's okay. Not yet. I want to hear what Claude got to say first, though.
Oh no, the show is great. What we're trying to do is reach a population and reach a community that's just not engaged, and educate and inform. Politics are important. So I think that's always got to be a part of what we talk about. Prayer is important. I think we always got to include prayer in whatever we do. And so I enjoyed this week's show and look forward to further discussions about the direction we're going in terms of bringing the family back to the table.
Yes.
Okay.
Amen.
All right, Mr. Claude. All right, Mr. Johnny, you have any final comments before we?
Thank you for bringing me into your live, and I hope you guys lift me up because I need it. Mama Rose always lifts me up and keep me challenged so I can go spread the word. Challenge me, hold me accountable, and I will put in whatever work I need to be done.
Okay, so
it needs to be spread. It needs to be spread.
Okay, we'll look for next week. You're talking about our credit score. So, Mama Rose, go ahead and bless us. And after you're done, I'll go ahead with my close out. Go right ahead.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for another beautiful day. Thank you for this live. Thank you for the people that's on this live. I'm a little late coming in, but Lord, the information that I did receive, Lord, I thank you. I ask you, Lord, to give us the strength and the ability to do what you've asked of us to do. Thank you, Lord, for the coming and going of this day. I thank you for the food that we have, the clothes we have on our back, and the shelter we have over our heads. I ask you, dear Heavenly Father, to bless everybody in your own way. You know their wishes and their desires. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, thank you for all you do. Amen.
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 All right. All right, thank you, Mama Rose. All right, this is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting live on BNN 247 every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. We just discussed a new series that we want to start, and we want to bring you back to the dinner table. And I think that's where we're going to get this information out to you. So pass it on to everybody you know and join us next Sunday. We're going to start at 3:30, but we're talking about holding the dinner table, bringing you back to the dinner table at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. I don't know what time is it in Seattle or on the East Coast, on the West Coast.
2:36, but that's all right.
2:36. It's still early. Mama Rose, you out? You on the West Coast?
I'm in Virginia. It's 5:07 here.
Oh, you on the East Coast. You way over there. So you would be way before us. Your time is quick. So if we're doing it at 5:30, it's going to be 7:30 your time, something like that. Okay. All right. So we'll see you guys next Sunday. Thank you so much for joining our show. And here is the outro again. BNN 247 on YouTube. Subscribe to our page. Facebook, The War Report, THEWAR Report. And on Instagram, BNN 247, and a couple other things out there like TikTok, BNN 247, and a few more. Join us on any one of those, and you will be able to find us. Thank you so much. I'm War Smith, your host, with your co-host, Mr. Claude Foster. Take care. See you next Sunday.
God bless you.